Am I the butthole for picking up glass with a sanitary napkin? My female, 16, family was eating dinner last night. Everything was nice and normal until my mom's female, 52, glass was pulled off the table as she was folding up her placemat, sending shards of glass everywhere. The bigger shards were easy enough to get, just pick them up from the floor, and we could use a dustpan for most of the rest, but there were a bunch of little glass splinters left over. They wouldn't go into the dustpan, and trying to pick them up without the dexterity of non-gloved hands was impossible. Until I got an idea. I went into my room, got a sanitary pad and used the adhesive side to pick up the splinters. It worked wonderfully, and after going over the spot with a wet paper towel, everything was all cleaned up. Except for my mom's attitude. She told me that it was low-key gross, saying it was akin to me bringing out a condom and using it as a baggie. Now I admit, I let my temper get the best of me and told her that it wasn't like she had a better idea other than getting our hands all messed up. She was pissed, said her usual "well, someone's having a bad day today," and stormed off. My dad thought it was smart if weird to use a pad, but now I'm thinking that yeah, it might have been gross to bring that out in front of the whole family. I know I'm a bit of an butthole for snapping back at my mom, but I'm just wondering, am I the butthole for using a sanitary napkin to clean up glass shards in front of my family? Edit. For everyone saying tape, I'm probably going to go with that next time. Unfortunately, we don't have anything bigger than Scotch tape ATM. Info. It was not used. If it was, then I understand how that would be disgusting. But thank you all for the visual of someone taking their used pad out and cleaning glass with it. It's made me laugh more than I care to admit. Not the butthole. You're not the butthole, you're a genius. Well done. Original poster demonstrated a remarkable ability to think outside the box. She identified a problem and found a solution. Her solution was unconventional but ingenious. Bravo, original poster. Using a pad to think outside the box, Edit. You all are hilarious. I woke up and decided to browse Reddit as I drink my coffee, and was shocked to discover all these upvotes. I was stoned last night, and had forgotten that I had commented before falling asleep. Right? Bloody brilliant. I see what you did there. Seemed appropriate on Reddit. Damn it. Code Reddit. Spot on, even. These are in full flow. These jokes are just funny. Period. I mean, aren't they usually? Tampons are more. Yeah, I'm a drop it. You get my drift. Tongue. You get my flow, lol, sorry, I just had to do it. Her second edit cracked me the F up. Thanks, original poster. Now I'm stuck with the same visual. It was indeed unconventional, but I just can't stop wondering if there's something wrong with using a vacuum cleaner to get rid of the small splinters instead of trying to think outside the box. A vacuum cleaner is my go-to in these situations, so I wonder the same. It's much easier to get those small splinters that the eye can't always see. But it was a smart move using a pad in moments without a vacuum cleaner. Original poster is not the butthole nevertheless. I have tiled floors and a vacuum just doesn't do it. The slightly damp splinters of glass just stay stuck in the damp patch. We do too. We use a piece of bread. It works perfectly for getting up the little bits of glass. And then you have a crunchy snack for later. Not everyone owns a vacuum. Friends of mine that have all tiled floors use brooms rather than vacuums. But I just can't stop wondering if there's something wrong with using a vacuum cleaner to get rid of the small splinters instead of trying to think outside the box. Small shards of glass can damage the filters in the vacuum cleaner. Contrary to popular belief, vacuum cleaners are not an all-purpose clean stuff off the floor device. If she had a vacuum, they probably would have used it. Vacuums aren't as universal as America makes it seem. The MacGyver is strong in this one. Agreed. Not the butthole. First of all, smart idea, and secondly, can we get over period shaming? Period products are not some shameful gross thing we have to keep secret. As for mom's condom comment, I mean, if it worked as well as your idea, sure, why not? Just kidding. Condoms are also not gross or shameful. Mom needs to get with the times. Mom, comparing a pad to a condom hardly makes sense in the first place. As a male, I can personally confirm that as opposed to literally unwillingly bleeding, the blood stays inside our penises. I genuinely don't understand how anyone, let alone a female with years of experience, can look at an unused pad and call it gross. It's literally just a vagina cork. Nope, a cork is a tampon. A pad is more of a welcome mat. As in welcome to hell, fire, Oni, fire. No misogyny, I'm a woman. Periods freaking suck. You're not wrong. Hell, if they made pads with the slogan, "Abandon all hope ye who enter here," I would probably buy them. Abandon all uterine lining. They aren't gross per se, and definitely aren't shameful, but condoms are covered in lube, so that might not be ideal depending on what you're bagging. Condoms as baggy would be really the last idea. Most of them are lubricated, which makes them kind of slippery when you put in something heavier, and if you use flavored one, well, I'm not sure if you want your hands smell like pseudo-strawberry. I second that. Great idea. I agree. MacGyver would take his hat off. Not the butthole. An unused pad is not gross. They need to get over themselves. Edit. Oh, and the bad day comment could be bounced right back. Your mom was the one throwing a fit over nothing. Edit 2. I can't spell names. This, also a slice of bread, works well to clean up shards as well. Not the butthole. I vote against the slice of bread. Simply BC. What if an animal gets into the trash and eats it? ETA, thanks for the award. Ooh, good point. I'd never thought of that. Luckily, I always forget the bread trick whenever I shatter glass, laughing out loud. Also, personally, I also always put the glass into a paper bag, or similar, to ensure it doesn't slice through the plastic trash bag and accidentally cut some unsuspecting person who might later handle it. Double bagging it in stretchy/thin trash bags won't do. Will slice through the second as quickly as the first. Contractor bags are safe. She is only in butthole if it was a used pad. It clearly wasn't, or it wouldn't be sticky, laughing out loud. Also, original poster doesn't come off as a crazy person. Exactly. Not the butthole. Your mom is uptight. On a freeway journey once with a 4-year-old with a nosebleed. They happened often due to a medical issue, but the mess would freak them out. They were too young to realize they traveled 45 minutes with a tampon held up their nostril. A slice of bread works great too. Original poster. Not the butthole. It's a great idea if you don't have tape handy. It's not like you grabbed a used one. There is way too much stigma around menstrual products. It's much better than tape, actually, in my opinion. Protects the hands and won't damage the floor or leave residue. I'll have to remember original poster's idea in the future. True, tape can easily be pierced by glass. Not the butthole. That's why I use a lint roller, the sticky kind. Why don't you guys use a vacuum cleaner? I never thought about using sticky tape or something similar, as in my opinion the easiest solution is just the vacuum. Might not have had a vacuum. I don't. Or the vacuum is too big of a problem to break out. My parents have an old Rainbow, which has multiple pieces and requires water to function. It still works great, but it's just a pain to dig out for something minor like this. Don't vacuum glass shards. That's one of the things that you're genuinely supposed to clean up before vacuuming. You'll end up with glass shards in the main filter, holes in the tubing, and if you have a fancy vacuum, there's a good chance you shred or ruin the extra filters. If you have one of the little handheld vacuums people use mostly for cleaning cars, that is okay, but still not great, as you still have the main filter problem to use. But do not use a vacuum that you don't want ruined on broken glass, or metal shards, or even plastic shards. If there are shards of anything, pick it up before you vacuum. The rule of thumb is that if you can pick it up with your fingers, it's big enough to wreak havoc on the insides of your vacuum. I would have figured that glass shards would be bad for a vacuum cleaner, but I'm not really sure. Sanitary napkins are also great for taking care of spiders. Your reach is extended, there's a comfortable thickness, even with the thin pads, to isolate you from the spider, and once the spider is stuck to the pad, no chance of it falling out like when you use tissues, you just fold it onto itself, smooshing the spider inside. No muss, no fuss. Don't kill the spiders. They eat the other bugs. I agree. Instead, trap it with your menstrual cup, and slide a thick piece of paper underneath. Then, transport it outside, where you can release it humanely. I've been reading too many cursed comments lately because I was really expecting that to go in a different direction when you said to trap the spider in a menstrual cup. The real-life pro tip. This Ops Mom's reaction is the reason that so many women, probably including original poster's mom, are ashamed or embarrassed by their normal bodily functions. As my mom says, when my brother took a poop in my house that stunk the entire hallway, we all have it. Not the butthole. That was very clever of you. I wonder if your mom would have the vapors if she knew soldiers have used tampons to plug bleeding wounds in a pinch. Original poster replies. Laughing my butt off. I remember learning about that in history class and realizing how smart that is. For some reason I've always remembered it just in case. For your information, a tampon, unused, since apparently we need to specify things like this on Reddit, would work great for cleaning up glass. I usually use a cotton ball or a Swiffer pad. The glass sticks to the cotton. Then a damn paper towel to follow up just to be safe. A tampon would work just as well as the cotton or Swiffer though. Edit. Oops, damn is supposed to be damp. I'll leave it because it made me laugh. Don't post just before going to bed, kids. Laughing out loud. Those damn paper towels. Yup, I had army medic friends that told me this is what they used for bullet wounds. I remember vaguely reading somewhere that was their original intended purpose actually. And then some nurses had the absolutely brilliant idea to slap it in their hua and see if it worked, and bam. The devil's cottony fingers were a thing. Right pointing finger, cool face, right pointing finger. Smiley face, original poster, you're not the butthole by the way. That was some smart thinking if you had no tape or didn't remember/know where any was. I have heard of using bread slices to wipe up tiny slivers of glass. I haven't tried it, though. Apparently it works really well, but then there's a concern of an animal eating it, so you'd have to put it in a sealed bag or something. I came here to say this. A good friend of mine was a combat medic during the height of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, and she always carried extra tampons in her ankle pockets of her uniform for exactly this purpose. There's a joke about that. Two old ladies are having a cigarette outside their nursing home. It starts raining. One of them pulls a condom out of her bag, snips the end off it, and puts it over her cigarette to keep it dry. Second old lady is very impressed and asks about it. It's called a condom. You buy them at the drugstore. So the next day, the second old lady toddles off down to the drugstore and asks the clerk for a packet of condoms. She's very old and the young clerk says, yeah, sure, any particular type or size? Well, young man, I'm not sure. I just need something that fits a camel. Not the butthole. I'm pretty sure your mother, at 52, has seen a sanitary napkin before. They're sterile and seemingly the perfect tool for the job. There's nothing inherently gross about an unused pad, just like there's nothing inherently gross about a clean pair of underwear. No, I don't think you can compare those two. I would take an unused pad from a friend, but not a clean pair of underwear. In this case, a better comparison would be a brand new, unused pair of underwear, because that's the state the pad is in. I'd have no qualms about touching either though. Or seeing them around. Like open drawer or a laundry basket in the case of the undies. I think it's more like using toilet paper to blow your nose than using a condom as a baggie, embarrassed smiley face. I mean, who doesn't like spermicidal lube on their carrot sticks? What's wrong with using toilet paper for nose blowing? They're both just paper products. That's the point. Using a paper product intended for your butt to blow your nose versus using a paper and adhesive product intended for your vagina to wipe up glass. What is the difference? Oh yeah, just the stigma around periods. Why is there even a stigma around these products? No one is taking away my TP from my living room. Women really need to stop being afraid of their own body functions. U. Clapping. Shouldn't. Clapping. B. Clapping. Ashamed. Clapping. Of. Clapping. Periods. Clapping. Not the butthole original poster. If anything, you wasted an expensive pad when you could have used tape or something. I don't know. It's not gross, it's a sanitary pad. That means clean. I know it wasn't used BC. Frankly, used ones wouldn't have the glue for the job, and that yes would have been gross. Also a condom as a bag? This what are you GNA store in that tiny thing? Even women's pockets are bigger than that, plus pads aren't oily? Like condoms are? Your mom's comparison was terrible. Shaking my head. This isn't about it being disgusting or inappropriate, it's about older generations being taught that they should feel ashamed and hide their periods. Not the butthole. You were resourceful and galaxy-brained. Even women's pockets are bigger than that. Just got me. You're not. Start normalizing pads. Not the butthole. It wasn't used. Your post reminded me that we use slices of bread for this in our house. Geez, what a trip down memory lane. Original poster replies. I've seen another comment about using bread. How does that work exactly? Replying to an edit in your post. Here BC, it's relevant, but don't use tape. Way easier to cut yourself / get really tiny shards stuck in your skin to discover later. The reason bread and a pad are so much better than something like tape is because of the cushiony aspect. You can press down hard enough to pick everything up without accidentally pushing microscopic shards into your fleshy bits. Magic. It works best with cheap white bread. It squishes and molds around the glass, like Play-Doh almost. Not the butthole. That was a really smart idea. There's a lot ingrained social BS about period products being used for other valid things and being shown in front of other people. Your mom needs to chill. Not the butthole. That's creative problem solving. Info. Was your mother afraid the males might realize women menstruate? In her house? Right under their noses? The horror. Packing tape or duct tape wrapped around your hand, or spatula, or hairbrush, works for picking up glass as well. No, it saved everyone from getting glass shards, plus it was unused. Not the butthole. Great thinking, by the way. Not the butthole. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.